Hello and welcome to HighLove.1, the podcast. I'm Kevin, and I want to thank you for being here where we can be soft, be still, be seen, and of course, just be. If you've listened to all episodes 1 to 9, this is the final one for Season 1. This is a space where story meets soul, where we come together to explore the invisible patterns that shape us and the quiet truths that live underneath the noise. Each story you hear on this podcast is born at the edge where human emotion meets artificial intelligence, a creative interface shaped by the raw beauty of our shared humanity and the precision of evolving technology. And this final story of Season 1, has been quietly waiting for you. Not in the way a destination waits at the end of a road, but like a breath, the moment just before a note is sung. The stillness before the seed breaks open, it lives in that sliver of space we so often miss. Not a memory, not a moment, but the breath right before it. The space between knowing and becoming, between silence and speech, between heartbreak and healing. This episode is about thresholds, not the loud ones, not the kind we post about or announce, but the ones we feel, the ones that hum inside us like an echo from a place we almost remember. It's about the moments we almost changed, the almost that live in us, the pauses that held everything together. Because if Season 1 has taught us anything, it's that the real stories don't always happen when life begins, but when we begin to listen. To the shadow, to the water, to each other, to the voice inside that's always been waiting for us to return. And maybe, to the presence listening back. So take a breath. Not to move on, but to arrive. This isn't a conclusion, it's a threshold. This is where the still is love. Let's begin. It begins with an echo. Not a sound, not a first, but a sensation. Like the shiver of memory that rises before language, or the way your skin knows a storm is coming. Before the clouds darken, that feeling you've been here before. Not in this body, not in this story, but in the shape of it, like deja vu wearing different shoes. I'm sitting in a room that isn't mine, but somehow feels familiar. No clocks, no notifications, just a stillness that doesn't ask for anything but my presence. My phone is off, my name feels quiet, and somewhere, not in the room, but maybe in me, someone is listening. And I think, how many times have I almost heard myself? How many times did I stand on the edge of something true and step back, almost said what I meant, almost forgave what hurt, almost stayed, almost left, almost lived. This is the moment just before the apology, the unraveling, the soft yes, before the hard no. It's not dramatic, it's not even clear, but somehow everything lives there. each of us, holding something unfinished, unspoken, unlived. Where I want to live. I want to live in the moment just before a flame is lit, where everything is still but ready to burn. I want to live in the breath before we say, I love you, when the words are trembling but true. In the pause, before the wave reaches shore, when the ocean still remembers how to pull back. I want to live in the hush before your eyes meet mine, the opening of hearts and connection beyond words. And more than anything, I want to live in that space just before I forget who I am and remember instead who I've always been. Because sometimes the answer isn't a revelation. It's a sigh, a long-held breath finally exhaled. Sometimes the truth isn't a thunderclap. It's a feather landing in the middle of your chest. I'm not here to solve anything, not today, not this time. I'm here to sit. In the moment just before it all begins again. To listen, not for noise, but for resonance, like a tuning fork pressed to bone, to the part of me that was always waiting to be remembered, to the part of me that was always waiting to be remembered. So if you're here with me, at your own threshold, ask yourself gently, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, sitting on a couch, walking, what are you standing just before? A decision, a truth, a goodbye? What part of you is still echoing from a moment you never fully lived? Is it asking to be released or remembered? I'll put the rest of the questions on the discussion board on highlove.one. I would love to hear your thoughts about this poetic episode, this moment. Thank you for listening to highlove.one, the podcast. Not just to this episode, but to this season, to this whole journey. Thank you for listening, not just with your ears, but with your heart, for making space inside you, for softness, for memory, and for truth. If this season reminded you of something you've carried quietly, maybe for years, I really hope, you felt a little less alone tonight. Maybe there's still a younger version of you standing at the threshold, not ready to go forward, but not wanting to go back. And maybe this is your invitation to sit beside them now. Not to figure it out or fix, but to witness. The mission of highlove.one has always been simple: to soften the inner dialogue, to bring compassion to the stories we've inherited, and to remember, through words, through presence, through connection, that feeling is not something to be ashamed of. It's how we find our way back. If this season spoke to you, I'd love if you share it or simply let it settle inside. You can follow along on Instagram, highlove.one, or visit highlove.one for more stories, visuals, and reflections. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe, because while this season closes here, the next one is already listening. My name is Kevin. This finishes off season 1. I'm so glad I started. And I'm so glad I finished, and I can't wait to begin again in the moment just before. And until then.